My name is Ernest Odame, the project officer in charge of special projects for the Ghana Tourism Authority. Um, with over a decade of experience in this industry, let me just take you a little backwards. I started life into this industry as a banker somewhere in 2007. Yeah, I think I'm correct, 2007. Um, Look, you and I understand that the money that we see in the bank is not ours. And so I thought I should go find where the money is coming from. I left the bank, I joined the media through the multimedia. And so one of us, in fact, I'm one of those guys that started Multi TV as a salesperson. One of the first salespeople that sold at Multi TV. At the time, we had about 10 channels or so, or a little more than 10 channels. And then over time, I got into global media. As they say, when you are in these institutions, you cannot earn only from that and survive. You begin to do other things. You begin to see where your interest takes you to. So I left that after a while, but I grew into it anyway. So through global media for several years, I leave town sometimes to go and do other jobs. I'm sure you'd understand. And got back into town and joined the tourism industry. But again, still within the same enclave of an industry, the same industry, dealing with the same industry, I'd say. And so, yeah, here I am today. I'll hold off a little bit on my personality, and we'll just have to go straight. But look, I'm glad I'm part of this event. I so would have loved that I was present to have face-to-face interactions with you. Unfortunately, I've had to be put on another assignment, which is why I've had to send this video, of course, to communicate with you and also to show that I am in full support of this. I look out to this event being one of the best with time and to bring out what quality really that events in this industry, in this country, should be looking up to become, and not just what we've been doing in the past years. So thank you for your time to actually want to listen to me. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being part of the event. And we'll go straight to the point. I'm going to be talking about event sustainability and how to attract investors for a start. So essentially, I wouldn't like to be very academic about this. I'll try to be very surface in my delivery on the event sustainability and how to attract investors. So to start with, you'd agree with me that a lot of events over the years have started, but after 5 years, 6 years, tops 8 years, it becomes stale. Forgive me if it's a wrong word to use, but you understand what I mean by it's becoming very stale. There are several reasons you can attribute to why. You and I know familiarity sometimes gets boring, okay? And so when events are not being innovative, when new things are not being added, when trends are not being considered in day out events, you begin to create division in who attends your event and not. Because after 5 years, those who were, let's say, 12 years become 17 years. The expectations are usually the current trends. If your event is not well thought through and it doesn't involve them, the question is, who are the event audience that you're looking for? The people you used to do the event for would have grown also and need a change. The new people need to understand what you were doing. If you don't fuse the two, it becomes a problem. And that is, like I said, I don't want to be too academic. It will be a bit confusing. But for events, I'd rather be surface. I know very well that you have very able people who are going to give you a detailed discussion on this particular topic. However, one of the things you want to consider in being innovative is to look out for tailor-made experiences. Let me give you an example. Afrochella. Afrochella a couple of years ago started in a very small format, adding culture, making culture look new to those who don't even know, and of course, adding the fun part of it. Over the years, it keeps growing. You'd agree with me that even in the COVID year, it still grew. And surprisingly, the origin being Ghana is being supported by the origins of its attendants. If I say that, what I mean is that, for example, the attendance of Afrochella has a lot of tourists from the UK especially. And over time, this being part of their research gives it some sort of support when it comes to the event. What has made it so? What has made it grow? It is not just the event as Afrochella and what it means, but consistently there's been some innovations that brings along current trends that grows the old trend. I have attended Afrochella every year. The reason is simple. I don't get tired. How is it that I don't get tired of it? It's because I see something new. There's some innovation in there, and which is one of the things that we need to look out for. Unfortunately, the very traditional events that we used to attend, the Kiso concert parties, and have overgrown its need. It's not because we don't want to see it again, but it's been the same things over and over. There's been no innovations. I'm trying to be very, very direct with my examples so that you can understand what I mean by the need to employ innovativeness in and tailor-made experiences in some of the events that we have. The panel definitely is going to talk about a lot of it. Now, one of the things you also need to look at has to do with you need to be consistent in dealing with issues that come from your previous events. For example, 2 years ago, again, I'm going to use Afrochella as a test case. 2 years ago, when there were issues regarding security and the process of, attending the event, getting into the compound and everything, it was well addressed last year. I wouldn't say it was 100%, but this gives me the belief that the issues that were raised last 2 years were addressed, and definitely those that were raised, though minimal now, will still be addressed and made better. This is what I mean by being sure that you address the issues of people in attendance of the event, audience. When they raise issues, don't overlook it. Don't just think you've got your money and so that's it. No, it doesn't work like that. People easily get tired lately, and the unfortunate part is that there are several alternatives to events. There are several options lately. With the introduction of what do you call it? Beyond the return, year of return, and especially December in GH activities, it's giving a lot of options to audience, to people, as to where to go on a daily basis. You realize, and again, you agree with me that Accra nightlife is beginning to grow. It's never been enough. Ask yourself this question, and I always give credit to the Tourism Authority, all the marketing agencies that support in marketing the country. I'll tell you something that will amaze you. There hasn't been any tourist who has visited Ghana and has not visited a place called Republic. Interestingly, when you go to Republic, it's just a small area, a street with chairs around. The question is, how is it that this particular place gains that consistency and has been there and everyone wants to go and see it? It isn't much. It's just that the petty issues are being addressed. Every now and then, there's something trendy that attracts the people there. So, let's not overthink it. Take the issues that people raise when they come to events serious, and make sure that they come and see and be overwhelmed by the solution that you have provided to them. It's one of the things that you need to look at when you want to have an event, being sustained when it comes to your own industry. One thing I would like to brief you on is what you call the business concept. It normally applies in accounting, but again, we didn't go to school to go and learn because I want to be accountants. It's for us to apply the knowledge in every other field. So this business concept is such that your company should be able to run separate from the owner. What it means when it comes to an event is that you should be able to have a brand of an event that can run without you and can grow without you. The question is, how do you do this? We need to begin to realize that the events that we churn out, the events that we bring, are not for us to attend. They are for people to attend. And so we need to stay away from making it, establishing it as though we are the people attending. Of course, we put ourselves in the shoes of the people who attend, the fun and everything, want to be part of it. But it has to be focused in a way that it would have to stay, it would have to move on, it will have to be consistent, it will have to do every other thing without your presence. And that's what makes your event sustainable. There are several things that you can consider in trying to keep that as a trend that goes on. Okay. And so several examples you can give. Let me give you one typical example in a recent event that's been happening. Taste of Ghana. It started from the polo court. The next year it moved to the forecourt of the Parliament House. The following year it couldn't happen because of COVID, but it happened after, and it was the Independence Square. The question here is that how come? Why not polo court? Was it meant for polo court? No. There's something that's been introduced. There's something that's different, which is why it's beginning to grow. The numbers on the first event, the numbers on the second one, and the third are all different. And you see an upscale of it. You see that if it was a graph, it moves up like that. It's because there's been some innovations. Trends are being considered. It's not only for local Ghanaians, but for everyone that attends. Obviously, that's the objective. But every other year, there is that one thing that is added that makes it even more attractive. Every other year, the issues that were raised in the previous events is well addressed. Every other year, we or the team try to add current innovations and trends that obviously would have people want to experience. And that is how that event would always be relevant. And in the end, being relevant means getting sustained. Okay. One of the things that a lot of events lack also is investments. And obviously, when you talk about investment, you want to make it simple. So you're talking about sponsorships, partnerships, and all that. A lot of event organizers are not able to understand what investors need. For example, it is a huge mistake to think that your event is known and so you expect that a brand should just jump on board. No, it's wrong. It doesn't happen that way. What are the deliverables that you are giving to this investor? What creative ideas are you adding on to whatever product that investor has to show or to market or to advertise? Gone are the days when it was easy to tell a marketer or an investor that, hey, jump on my event and I'm going to be giving you LPMs. LPMs are live presenter mentions. I'm going to be adverts. I'm going to put your logo on mine. Those days are gone. Imagine you are telling Vodafone or MTN that come and put your logo on my brand. Are you okay? Like, who doesn't know that yellow or red? I mean, everybody knows it. So telling the marketing manager or whoever is in charge of investment to come and put the logo there is almost a no. You understand? But if you were able to tell one of those that, hey, I know you have this Momo, you've been able to meet 2 million people in your first 2 years. I have an event that's going to drive you into 3 million. These are the steps. These are the follow-ups. This is where you begin to make the investor realize that, oh, okay, I thought I had arrived, but this guy is offering me a certain kind of platform and a style that's going to make even my business bigger. These are the things that will convince me, for example, if I was the marketing manager of MTN. Yes, I'd like to have a discussion on that. But if you come and tell me you put my logo and you mention MTN, even the market women are mentioning MTN, it still won't wash. All these come to the deliverables, the things that you create to make your event relevant to that investor. Every investor, every product, every business looks at revenue in the end. You need to be able to justify why somebody should be on your event with a long-run realization of at least revenue. Nobody wants to invest and lose. Yes, it's misunderstandable because people think that investors, sponsors, partners usually have a marketing budget. And so, yes, what you don't know is that these marketing budgets are being met, are being broken even by some sales department or by an activation department. What's your role in that? That is what you need to look at. When you sit and think that you have an event that has come to stay and so people to jump on it because people will attend, trust me, it doesn't work that way. Only new brands who want to probably be doing sampling, who want to be in activations, will jump on these events. Yes, you can call them also investment, but the question is, between you and I, are those the investments that you need? The 5,000s and the 2,000s and the product samplings, is that what you need? Obviously not. But when you create those tailor-made deliverables for these investors, these sponsors, that is when they find themselves very, very essential to that event that you are giving them. That platform becomes very important and they will not like to lose it. In a nutshell, I would say these are some of the deliverables that you should be looking at. Let me try and give you a very typical example. A few years ago, I saw, I think it was a brand activation on Always Ultra. Till today, I think it's one of the best activations I've seen. Always the sanitary towel, the sanitary pad that young ladies wear. I mean, there are so many brands, but this is what Always did. You can verify this if you have time. Type "like a girl" in quotes, "like a girl," and add Always on Google, YouTube. You'll find it's one of the things that till today has an imprint of a lot of young ladies, is that it taught the young ladies that like a girl does not mean you have to be feeble. Run like a girl and you see them running as if they don't have bones. No. You actually begin to realize that run like a girl means just run as fast as you can. You don't have to run looking like a girl. And it's begun to make a lot of young ladies realize that, after all, being a girl doesn't mean I can't run. It doesn't make me a feeble person. But actually, I can run faster, run stronger, show my strength like a girl. But you see, what you don't realize is that it was being done by a brand called Always. What did they achieve in the end? With all this creativity, emotional drive, bringing this realization to young ladies, the end product was to sell the brand Always Ultra. And today, I do not think if you sample 100 girls, you are likely to get less than 50 telling you that they use Always Ultra, irrespective of the options available. I don't think so. Even if anybody was to mention a sanitary brand, I am likely and comfortable to say that Always is likely to be the first to mention. Why? Someone created a marketing brand that communicates emotions to the target, which are young ladies, those who need to use those sanitary towels. What you don't know is that it was an event company who created that for their brand. You can do the same. That's what I mean by creating proper deliverables for these investors to realize, at least they should realize some brand value that are immeasurable. Not the usual, I'll give you adverts, I'll give you this. My MC will mention your name. For what? For what? I mean, look, those who know me know I speak very bluntly. But that's the reality here. I'll give you a typical example, and I feel sometimes we shoot ourselves in the back. And this is no malice to anybody. But this is my very, very personal opinion. And I'll share it anywhere I go. I can be wrong. I stand to be corrected. But just imagine this. A few years ago, we lost one of the best artists that was growing in this country, Ebony. I'm sure you agree with me that we've almost forgotten her. Yeah, that's the truth. We have almost forgotten her. Don't feel I'm deviating, but it's just to draw your attention to the deliverables that we need to be driving along events. There was an award given to her in the year. I even said I don't even remember what award it was. But just imagine that particular happening was created to stay. So, for example, I would have in that year done something like the Ebony Award and given it a meaning. After Ebony is not her real name. So that is a brand award. It represents something. I would have done an Ebony Award. What it means is that an award that will reward or will give meaning to growing artists every year. If I'm a new artist and I'm going into the industry, it will be prestigious for me to want to win the Ebony Award. But we give her an award for something and we don't even remember her anymore. If you're an event organizer and you cannot think of certain deliverables like what I've just said, if it makes sense to you, how do you get someone? Do you know how many brands, how many guitar brands or drum brands that would love to have that category as a sponsor? Like, I am, for example, I am virtual sound or something, and I want to support the Ebony Award for young people. These are deliverables that could have been created, and it will be there to stay for long. But today, when you're mentioning artists, I'm telling you, out of 10 people, 5 people will not remember Ebony. Let me not get too emotional about it, but it's important that we connect emotions to the marketing that we do now. This is the only way brands will make meaning of the events that we do. So that is how you begin to connect to investors. Let the investors see that you have them in mind, and it's that important that they are part of the event. One last thing that you shouldn't forget also: human beings are created in such a way that we love to be rewarded, we love to be given back. And so begin to think of how you give back to society with the events that we do. It's another way of getting investors close to some of the audience that they need. Trust me, if you give somebody an acquired taste over a long period, I think I sometimes think that it's actually harm that we are causing to people. But this is it. Imagine your event year on year or every 6 months gives an acquired taste to a group of people. After 4 years, the taste changes. What have you done to the people? You are going to make them addicted to that taste. How does it benefit the investor? Well, you are not giving back to them in this way anymore. But me, the investor, I benefit because I'm not giving them for free. Now they are buying. Me, the investor, I become happy. That's the interesting part. That's the like those in the IT with the back end that we don't see. That is actually what it means. The brand visibility stays. I don't need to be communicating my brand anymore because it has become part of the people that I influence. And generally, everyone likes to be rewarded. Human beings, that's how we're created. We want to be rewarded. So giving back to society through CSRs are very important. People are aware that investors, brands have CSR projects that they do. How do you, the event organizer, the event owner, how do you also have a share in support of that? If you're able to look at what CSRs that investors are doing, and you can create innovative ways of support in doing them, just imagine how much value they will want to add to your event. Let's think outside the box. Like I said, I don't want to be too academic on this. I like to rather look at things directly as they seem.